If I open the hearing for the Barnstable Conservation Commission, I would like to ask Angela to do the roll call for the quorum purpose.
Okay, Abadili,
Present.
Foster.
Present.
I know Bill is absent tonight. Lee,
Present?
Sampu, did he sign on?
No.
Not yet? Okay.
Yeah.
Agni, present. Administrator Darcy Carley is absent. Staff member Kim Kavanaugh.
Present.
Thank you. And Agent Ed Hoops.
Present.
All right, we have 4 and we have enough for a quorum.
Thank you. Acting under the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, and Chapter 237 of the Code of Town of Barnstable, the Barnstable Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, July 23rd, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. for the application of, but tonight we don't have any application for the RDA nor the NOI tonight.
Yes, you do.
What?
You have a
No,
NOI.
We are continuance. Those are
Oh,
continuance.
sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize.
The hearing is being recorded and broadcast on the Town of Barnstable's Government Access Channel. The plans and application are on file and may be reviewed by scheduling appointments by sending email requests to Darcy Curley at 230 South Street, Hyannis. This meeting is being recorded and broadcast on the Town of Barnstable's Government's Access Channel. In accordance with the Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Section 20, please let the chair know if anyone is recording this meeting. Hearing none. This evening's hearing agenda is posted on the town's website. On the agenda, next to each application is the amount owed to the Town of Barnstable for the cost of advertisement. Please send your checks to the Conservation Division at 230 South Street before the hearing. Remote participations. The Conservation Commission's public hearing will be held by remote participation as a result of an act extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency signed by the governor on March 29, 2023, suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law. Remote public access to this hearing shall be provided in the following manner. 1. The hearing will be televised via Xfinity Channel 8 or High Definition Channel 1072. It may also be accessed via Town of Barnstable's Government's Access Channel. 2. The real-time public comment can be addressed to the Conservation Commission utilizing the Zoom link 876-4892-7502 or use the toll-free phone number 888-475-4499 as shown on the agenda. 3rd, the public can also email their comments to darcy.curley@town.barnstable.ma.us at least 8 hours prior to the hearing. Tonight, we only have 2 continuances. The first one is Anthony F. Pelletier, 1994 Trust, to reconstruct and replace licensed rock jetties, concrete ramps, rock revetments, and platforms with piles and native plantings at 18 Newbirth Terrace, Hyannis, as shown on Assessors Map 325, Parcel 091. And this is a continuance from July 9th and 25th without testimony. And the quorum is everyone. And so the floor is yours, Roy.
Yes, Royal Karowski with WRS Engineering for the record. I was told I should be sharing my screen for the presentation, or is there a common screen that you guys look at for plans, etc.?
You can share it. We should be able to see it.
Let's see here. So you should be able to see. Can you see that?
Yeah, we can see your file. You have to click it open.
Yeah, it should be open, is it?
Not yet.
I opened it. Huh. So it's open on my screen. So you're not seeing that? I clicked your screen share.
You must have 2 screens.
All right, yeah, let me kill that one. Screen sharing is stopped. Share. So there's that one. I mean, that's my screen. Screen sharing.
Yes, this is the screen that's showing the NOI application material.
Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna scroll down. Come on. Why doesn't it want me to move this? So we're here tonight for the Pelletiers who have owned this waterfront property for a considerable number of decades. And what has happened, I'm going to go right to the chase here. In the last, I'd say, decade or so, they've been constantly getting hit with bigger storms. And what they have here is they have a float system that's all licensed behind a rock jetty. And I'll get to the plan after that. And what's happening is in the southeasterly storms and the southerly storms, they're getting overtopped and their docks have been just getting torn up at high cost and replacement. So what we plan to do is basically in the same licensed footprint. In this picture here is that's the permitted jetty. We plan to go up approximately 2 feet, tapering out from the point you see to the end in the same footprint. So this end where this concrete sidewalk starts is approximately 2 feet higher than the other end. And we feel by basically rebuilding this jetty in the same footprint at a higher elevation will be above 90% of the storm tides. In addition to that, that concrete flat top is going to be, and all that concrete's going to be removed along with that deck you see and the pilings right there. And that's going to be rebuilt with a wooden walkway and wooden platform in the same or lesser footprint with 4 piles being replaced. In addition to that, nothing is being proposed with the existing float systems that are there, which is a U float, which I'll show in the plan in a little bit. So there is no change to navigation. Just a point of that I found out tonight too, that one of my employees is attending the waterways hearing at 7 p.m. tonight.
Okay.
And we suspect that that'll go forward, but would you be happy to have, a condition or a continuance if required based on the outcome of that? And then in addition to our work, this is a pre-existing concrete ramp, which we tend to leave in place. And what we're going to do, we're going to probably jack this thing with some grout to even it out and to fix this, just repair this crack here. But no rebuilds, nothing big's going on here. And then as we go towards behind this ramp, we're going to rebuild that rock revetment in kind because it's basically falling apart and losing soil from behind it. And then behind it, we're going to put in a whole native planting area to hopefully filter some of the runoff from the yard from going into the water column. They don't use fertilizer. It's really a Cape Cod lawn now. So this picture, you can see this whole area is going to be a native planting area. And then all this concrete's going to be gone. It's just going to be a rock revetment in the same footprint. So we're not requesting any new area of shellfish, land subject to coastal storm flowage, land under ocean, land containing shellfish to be taken up. It's really just a repair. The work is going to be done either from a working barge, but most likely it's going to be done from the neighbor's property adjacent to their house. I don't know if you had a chance to go down there, right along I guess that's the northeast side of the house. They're going to come in with a machine and do everything over their property. So we're not going to be impacting any of the shellfish. We did have a shellfish survey done as requested, and we feel we're not going to have anything but maybe some temporary impacts on the areas where the rock stone toes are underwater. And the work's going to be done off season, so we don't feel there's any issue there. I'm just trying to find my plan. This is basically the shellfish is interest we saw. They found a few quahogs, nothing much here. That's the area. And then that's another view of the type of substrate. We're just going to be working around, the seawall. We're not going to be working out here at all. We did survey it all. And then let me get my plan. How do I do that? So I go, I guess I close, close current tab, this one. I'm just pulling up my plan. So can you see that?
Yep.
So I'm just going to zoom up on it a little of interest. So this is the area of work you can see in a plan view. This is the new proposed walkway, the rebuilt platform that's pile supported on one end and supported on the rock and the other. It's actually a smaller footprint than it was. And then the extents of the rock jetty. And then here is the floats we're not doing anything with. They're actually just getting them rebuilt in kind. And then this is the grid of the shellfish area that's shown in the plan that the counts are there for. And that's basically it. I'd be happy to answer any questions from the board.
Thank you. Before I go to the commissioner, let me read a couple of things. Number one is we have received the DMF letter dated June 25th, and they have a few recommendations or comments. One, a time of the year restriction should be observed to protect the sensitive life stages of horseshoe crabs from coastal construction activity on potential nesting beaches. Demolitions and constructions could bury or crush sparings, adult crabs, and nests. No in-water construction should take place from May 1st to July 31st of any year. Two, repair of the structure should be within the existing same footprint as the existing structures. Any expansion of the footprint into the tidal waters of the Commonwealth will result in the loss of the shellfish habitat. Three, the construction activities, including staging of the construction material and equipment, as well as the equipment transits to and from the construction site, should avoid intertidal habitats to the greatest extent practical. As much work as possible should be conducted from the upland portions of the project site to minimize impacts and avoid the compactions of sediment in mapped shellfish habitat. Any work in the intertidal zone should be limited to low tide, such work is conducted in the dry. Fourth, the concrete delivery vehicle should be prohibited from washing down equipment on site. This activity should potentially wash excessive concrete and hydrocarbons into marine resource area. The fifth is the fuel spilled from the refilling of the construction equipment will adversely impact sensitive resource area. Impacts to resource area can be avoided by prohibiting all land-based equipment from being refilled on site. If equipment is refilling on site, adequate containment and cleaner material should be required to minimize the impacts. This afternoon, we also received our town biologist memo. And in that, let me read the comment there. There is not a significant population of shellfish in these locations, though the substrate in the intertidal zone is suitable for soft shell clams. None were found on site. A small population of the oyster were found on site. The project proposed site is a DMF/SC 28.0. Is rated at 8 out of 10 as adopted by the Conservation Commission in 2017. Natural Resources has no objections to these proposed projects, though we do have some requests. We would like to be present for the pre-construction meeting to see the full work zone area when it is stated. We are also requesting that the float has flow stops, so at low tide it cannot rest on bottoms. The float is cresting, scouring, and further down, degrading the habitat by sitting on the bottom. We are not requesting to relocate the current population of shellfish at this time, based on the assumed work zone area. Should this change upon the pre-construction meeting, this will be revisited. So those are the comments. Comment from the commissioner. John.
Thank you, Tom. By the way, not to change the subject, but a rating out of 8 out of 10 with the shellfish study kind of makes me wonder about that rating, but that's a totally different issue that we could address sometime, Tom. A couple of questions. Number one, the cement ramp, why is that even there? Why can that, what about removing that and just building the rock wall along there?
The owner asked that it remain. It's previously licensed, and they walk down that. There's no other easy way to get down into the intertidal area at this point. So that's why, it's licensed. They want it to remain. We're really not changing it. Taking it out would actually cause more damage than leaving it there. You're not gaining.
In the
anything.
short term, that's true, but I suspect in the longer term would be to the advantage of that little piece of water.
Well, I mean, that's the owners requested that we just basically leave it and repair it. And just to address those concrete comment trucks, there's not going to be any large amounts of any concrete really being poured down here. The ramp will probably be fixed with a foam, which we use now to jack up foundations, which is much more environmentally friendly, and it doesn't have any runoff. Just so that comment by the DMF is not really valid in any case, to our knowledge.
Okay, I don't know. I had some when I walked the property, walked the site, it's clear that this work needs to be done. It really is in trouble. It's a real mess. That ramp still kind of bothers me. I gotta admit it, because you don't see that anywhere else that I'm familiar with. Is there a planting plan that was submitted? Ed, perhaps I missed it. Is there a planting plan somewhere that you guys have reviewed?
It's right here. So you can see, right on the plan here, here's my plants. And then in plan view, it's shown, all the plants are shown right on there. So,
I was just wondering if the staff had reviewed that planting plan and had any comments. It looks good to me, but perhaps they had an additional comment. That was my question to Ed, whether they had a chance to review it.
I have. I only looked at it very, very briefly, John. I do know that they do have three species that we would see in that particular type of environment. So, I'm good with that.
Okay, great. Thank you, Ed. Third issue, I noticed, and again, it may not be on this applicant's property, but there was like a small wooden platform at the end of the rock wall. I should go back. It would be way up on the edge of the property at the end of the stone wall there. There was a wooden platform. Is that on the owner's property, or are you familiar with that, Roy, at all?
No. There's nothing like that I did the survey personally, and this is what's there.
So there is no wooden platform.
Are you talking to the north?
Where the heck is it? It would be, yes, exactly, way up to the very north.
That's over the property line.
Okay, so that's not yours or the owner's. Okay, because that was concerning. I didn't know whether it was just kind of sitting there. And I assume that we would require, Tom, a pre-construction meeting and a protocol, et cetera.
Yes, that's something that I'm going to bring it up after you make the comment. After you finish your comment stuff, I have a few conditions to be added.
Okay, well, I'm all set. I'll listen to your conditions. Thank you. Excuse me, I'm not sure if any other commissioners bothered by that stone ramp, but go for it.
Yeah. Any other question from the commissioner?
Actually, I do.
Hi, Luis.
Talking about your plant selection, given some of the violent storms, excuse me, you seem to be having, based on some of the pictures, although these are native plants, do you think they're going to survive that kind of battering?
So from that direction, when we repair it, that area is actually going to be protected. And the only reason the area there is dilapidated now is from loss of soil through the wall. the new wall is going to have a fabric backing, so that will be basically an upland area. We don't foresee it getting, with the exception of maybe a hurricane, any salt water up there.
Okay, great, thank you.
Angela, I saw Peter join us. He joins around 6:49.
Okay, noted. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sorry for the delay. I've had significant computer challenges. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. Any other comment from the commissioner? So let me try this. Oh, I need to go to the public comment first. Channel 18, any public comment on this?
Liz, did you have any comment or question on this? If you could unmute.
No, but I should tell you, I live in Katuitt. We are going to, at some point, go before the commission. I have a political job in California, so I'm interested in how you operate, and it's very similar to what we do. So it's comfortable and comforting to see that. And thank you for asking me.
Thank you. So let me try the couple conditions here. Number one, I'll be asking for the submission of a construction protocol to be prepared by the contractor, at least submitted 4 weeks prior to the pre-construction meeting. And then we will have a pre-construction meeting with the conservation agents, the town shellfish biologist, the engineer, and the contractor. Third, you need to coordinate, the applicant should coordinate, the engineers or the applicant should coordinate it with the natural resource to determine the amount for the shellfish seeding funding. I think they offer that under the application. So, they should make that coordinations. And fourth, one of the comment is from the town's biologist is the add the flow stops on the float so that it's not going to sit at the bottom.
You can't do that. There's only 4 piles for 3 floats, so float stops need 4 piles per float. So there's no way to do that. It would require, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 new piles to do that. So it's not practical. It's already licensed. We're not changing anything. We possibly, just of note, we might be coming back in the future. This area was previously permitted to be dredged, and that area is filled in. But at this point, this application is as it stands, with what's permitted and been licensed for many, many years. And it doesn't sit on the bottom, except in extremely low tides in one corner.
I think if George Gilmore were here, Tom, he probably would agree with that conclusion.
Yeah.
Based on my understanding.
Okay. So taking out that float stop conditions, did you have any other concern with those conditions before we vote?
I'm happy with all those conditions and all the conditions cited by DMF also, if you have to include those. We have no problem.
Yeah, we will include those under the other conditions. So could I have motions to approve this project subject to the submissions of the construction protocol to be prepared by the contractor at least 4 weeks prior to the pre-construction meeting. And second, have a pre-construction meeting with the conservation agent, the town's shellfish biologist, the engineer, and the contractor. And third, coordinate with the natural resource to determine the amount for the shellfish seeding funding, if necessary, if any.
So moved.
Anyone second?
Second.
Roll call.
Abadili,
Aye.
Foster,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Tangney, aye, and Sampu.
Abstain.
Okay, thank you.
So it's approved 4-0.
Correct. Yep.
Thank you, Roy.
Thank you for your time.
The second continuance is Susan P. Stickles, trustee, and Albert A. Holzman, the third trustee, proposed constructions of a pool and all associated amenities at 149 Inwood Lane, Centerville, as shown on the Assessors Map 225, Parcel 025. This is a continuance from July the 16th, and the quorum is everyone. This application is waiting for the issuance of the DEP number. And we received the DEP number as SE3-6207. Could I have a motion to close the public hearing and authorize the staff to issue the order condition?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Abadili. Abadili.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Sampu.
Aye.
And Tangney, aye. Passes with 5. That's a quorum.
Thank you. We have one easy certificate of compliance. It's Gail D. Brennan, care of Santa Claus, SE3-5531. Could I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Abadili.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Sampu.
Aye.
And Tangney, aye. That's unanimous.
Our next hearing is August the 6th at 6:30. And could I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. Comment first, Mr. Chairman. As I recall, Pete, you can join me in this, that if meeting is less than a half an hour, the chairman has to buy a round of drinks again. Wasn't that right, Pete?
I think that's written in as policy, isn't it?
Yeah, it might be. Second the motion, adjourned, Tom.
Roll call. Tangney, aye. Sampu.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Abadili.
Definitely aye.
Meeting adjourned 6:55.